Donald Trump doesn't want to talk about a guy by the name of Jeffrey Epstein. So Donald Trump claims that he hates talking about old topics and regurgitating old topics. Almost every day he still brings up the 2020 election that he claims was stolen, which it wasn't. He continues to talk about water pressure in toilets. He likes to talk about that a lot. He continues to talk.
He can ramble on that one.
Yeah, he continues to talk about immigrants being, all terrible, violent criminals. He still brings up Hillary Clinton's emails. And he still talks about the alleged Biden crime family. But when you're asked about Jeffrey Epstein, here's Donald Trump's response to that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
First of all,
You still argue.
First of all, okay, let me be very clear on this. Most of his supporters are the ones that continue to
Elon
talk
Musk.
about Jeffrey
It's because
Epstein.
Elon Musk put out on Twitter and everywhere else that Donald Trump was all over the Epstein files. It was Pam Bondi. It was Patel, Kash Patel. Those are the people who are talking about it because they're trying to do the cover-up thing. But for him saying that was ridiculous, because when Elon Musk says something, it goes worldwide. That's what started it, in my opinion.
This is Donald Trump's base that floated around all these conspiracy theories. Listen, do I think there's an actual list out there? I don't know. Do I think you could compound a list of a lot of people? Sure, I think you could, absolutely. Here's what we know for sure. I said this on the Piers Morgan show the other day, and I'll say it again. Jeffrey Epstein is caught on tape calling Donald Trump his best friend. We know that Donald Trump was on the Epstein flight log at least 7 times. We know that from the Maxwell trial. We also know that Epstein flew on Donald Trump's personal plane. So we know that for sure. So if this was the other way around and it was Joe Biden that was doing that, this is all that MAGA Republicans would talk about. Pam Bondi is the one who promised the list would be released. She's the one who was gloating about this. Haba on Piers Morgan's show said that this list was going to be released.
Well, she was asked, not to interrupt you, but
Right.
she was asked about the list, not about the entire report. And she said that it's on my desk and I'm reading through it even as we speak. And let me ask you something. Have you ever been on a airplane that's called a Lolita Express 7 times?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Listen, I've said this before and I'll say it again. It's clear that the Donald Trump administration has a lot to hide. It's clear, in my personal opinion, that Donald Trump would be all over the Epstein files, and he's all over it, and he would be on the list. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, I'm sure there'd be some Democrats that are on the list as well, but guess what? Those Democrats are not in office right now. Donald Trump.
Or they might be, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah, I mean, it's also no question about it. Speaking of gross, let's talk a little bit about Alex Jones. Alex Jones, who once did an entire segment about me, I played it on the show, is now very, very upset that the Trump administration is not releasing the Epstein files. In fact, he's so upset and he feels like he's been lied to. He actually posted a video yesterday and he got emotional and he started crying. You see, he doesn't cry when innocent children are gunned down in a school shooting. In fact, he'll lie about it and say they're paid actors. That doesn't make him cry. But if the Trump administration doesn't release the Epstein files, that's what makes Alex Jones cry. Watch this.
So I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. Because I have integrity. And, I just really need the Trump administration to succeed and to save this country, and they're doing so much good. And then for them to do something like this tears my guts out.
Yeah, because if you ever think about somebody with decency and credibility, I'm sure the first person you'd think about is Alex Jones. one of the most despicable people on the planet. But he's getting emotional and he's crying because the Epstein files weren't released. But after one of these school massacres, not only does he not cry or get emotional about it, he just says that they were paid actors. That's Alex Jones for you, ladies and gentlemen, an absolutely despicable human being. And then there comes the Epstein files and the Epstein list and the Kash Patels of the world and the Dan Bonginos of the world and everybody basically that's in the MAGA base have been saying that these files are going to be out there and released, and Bill Clinton and all these Democrats are going to be exposed. Well, it turns out that Donald Trump and his administration are holding on to these files and they're not releasing them. Why? What do they have to cover up? Is Donald Trump now the deep state? Is Kash Patel and Dan Bongino now the deep state? Well, listen to Bill O'Reilly, who, again, Bill O'Reilly's the guy who couldn't get laid, so he tried to coerce women back to his hotel rooms, and Fox News had to pay out tens of millions of dollars after he sexually harassed women at Fox News. And should we be surprised that now Bill O'Reilly is making excuses for Donald Trump and why they're not releasing the Epstein files? Listen to this pathetic excuse for a human being, Bill O'Reilly, and the excuse he's making as to why Donald Trump is not releasing these files.
Talk to President Trump man to man, eye to eye, on St. Patrick's Day about this and the Kennedy files and the King files. It was all one conversation. And he said, and I agree, there are a lot of names associated with Epstein that had nothing to do with Epstein's conduct. They maybe had lunch with him or maybe had some correspondence for one thing or another. If that name gets out, those people are destroyed because there's not going to be any context. Media doesn't care about context. So you can't do that.
It's funny, we heard the same people talking about context when Donald Trump talked about grabbing women by the genitals. We heard the same excuses about context when Donald Trump invited Kanye West and Nick Fuentes to Mar-a-Lago for dinner. We heard the same thing about context when Donald Trump was talking about injecting yourself with disinfectant. We heard the same thing about context when Donald Trump said that he would end the war within 24 hours. It's always context with these people, context. No, it's pretty simple. If you were very close with Jeffrey Epstein and Epstein called you his best friend, you're probably in the Epstein files if you would like some context. Here's some context for you. Here's a name that I think doesn't want to be out there associated with Jeffrey Epstein and was probably on Jeffrey Epstein's island and probably did some horrible things to underage kids. That name is Donald Trump. His name is Donald J. Trump. So Bill O'Reilly could talk about context of why he tried to coerce women back to his hotel rooms and tried to put pressure on them and offered them help with their careers so that he can have sexual relations with them. But then Bill O'Reilly's the same guy. Oh, no, we need some context. Here's some context for you, Bill O'Reilly. You're a scumbag. You've treated women horribly your whole life. You're an abuser. You're a terrible human being. You're a loudmouth. You're a racist, and you're scum. You and Donald Trump together are scum. There's your context. And then there's Anna Paulina Luna, who is another MAGA buffoon, who, again, making more excuses for Donald Trump, asked, do you think Donald Trump is on the Epstein client list? Well, y'all know the answer that Anna Paulina Luna gave. Here it is.
And blind, then it needs to happen. And so we'll continue to push for that release call for it. But it's been deafening how many members of Congress have been silent on this. And to be clear, also, I want to clear something up. I do not think, and I've told this to multiple media outlets because I've been getting questions on this, is Trump on the Epstein client list? No. And I'm very positive of that because if he was, they would have released it during the election cycle. But what I do know and what I'm seeing right now across, every aspect, whether it's rich, poor, famous, not famous, people have actual concerns. Are people basically paying off people to be quiet, and that's not okay.
Absolutely and positively ridiculous. So Anna Paulina Luna is saying, if Trump was in the Epstein files, Joe Biden would have released it. Okay. Well, going by that same standard, we've heard MAGA Republicans say that the Clintons are in there and all these Democrats are in there. So why isn't Donald Trump releasing it? So that's an absolute stupid excuse. Oh, well, if Trump was in there, Joe Biden would have released it. We've been hearing for years, MAGA Republicans, all the prominent Democrats that they say allegedly are in there, then why wouldn't Donald Trump release it? So that's an absolute joke. And Anna Paulina Luna wears the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7.